Hello, today is the autumn equinox, so it is a day and a time of a lot of shifting to go around for everyone across the board. We see it seasonally. It's a time of the year where all the trees turn golden and then into red and then start shedding their leaves, and it is very a time basically that when we really can really mirror what's going on. So on our personal level, it's a time for maybe shedding a few people out of our lives, or some projects that's no longer really sort of speaking to us, or anything basically that's just not working. It has been a very, very difficult time for most of us. We've been going through the Mercury retrograde, which is going forward at this time today, but we are still in the, while it's going direct, we are still going to be going in the shadow period. So the shadow period essentially is basically, it's a bit like throwing a pebble, and it's the ripple on effect of it. So although it is going forward, once again, we are going to still be experiencing quite a bit of the energies of Mercury retrograde. Now, as some of you know, it's a lot to do with communication, technology, it's got to do with travel. So a lot of us would have been experiencing delays, cancellations, people not showing up, people turning up late, people not phoning up to turn that bit to say they're going to be late. I've had untold amounts of technical and technological issues beyond belief, actually. It's been very stressful. I've had problems with my MacBook, my iPhone, and now my printer. So I think I've been really stalled on many, many levels, and I've used this time to reflect on what's working in my life, what's not working in my life, connecting out with nature, and on the days that's been a bit cold, maybe doing some yoga, much more meditation at home, which are very, very important facets at this time. It is really important that we stay grounded and we root ourselves like some of the big trees that maybe, well, there are a lot of them, but like the big trees, you know, really pull your roots down through your feet, or if from your sit bones. Really make sure that you're as grounded as you can be, because this time, as we're transitioning seasonally as well as energetically, we have been in a phase of lots and lots of changes. It's really important that we stay as congruent and as aligned as we can possibly be. There have been things that are shaking us up to our core. You know, I've recently got a hate letter, or a very disturbing letter, with pages and pages of somebody being really triggered by what I'd written in my newsletter. And it was very interesting, really, for me to sort of see what was really coming and what was belonged to somebody else and what was really mine as well. However, also it's an opportunity for us to actually transmute and alchemize what is happening in our lives, and really taking the strength. So everything has an absolute gift in it. And no matter how sort of ugly sometimes things can be or even seem, it really is serving our higher self and our higher growth. Unfortunately, we do meet people along the way, and as a change agent, personally, I tend to do and go through quite a lot of changes personally myself. I like having actually my moon in Cancer. For those who might not know much astrology, just to keep it really simple, Cancer is very homey, a very secure kind of somebody who likes to be at home quite a bit, which is what I am. And although I like change, I don't like disruptive change. You know, the kind of change that kind of clips. Nobody really likes that, though. The kind of change that where we get clipped from underneath our feet, and you kind of have to land with a bang, really. However, conscious change is always a very positive thing. I've gone through streams of work, relationships, and jobs as well. And often, later on, much later in my life, I discovered it's because on a soul level, I'm able to really sort of move through things quite quickly. And when the lessons learned, I will able to sort of move on and take what I've learned in order to be able to teach it. So while that's been great, on the other hand, it's been lots of changes and lots of pain sometimes as well. So there are goodbyes right now to be had, and doing rituals of some kind, like burning, putting your list of what you want to get rid of, are all really good stuff. So just to sort of keep it really short, I really wish you happy equinox. Know that this is a time of change. it is a time where we are all being asked to reflect and make conscious choices of what needs to stay. You know, it's a time of the year as well where our diet needs to start changing as well, kind of coming more into robust salads, you know, more grain-filled salads, salads or like with pumpkins, that kind of thing, or butternut squash, more robust, you know, and these are the vegetables that will be coming in season now. So to start utilizing as well, you know, forget the raw food type things that is just not seasonally supportive, especially if we're in the northern hemisphere as we're moving into the winter. I really am very big on supporting seasonal foods to go with the climate of our country as well. So being sort of in England here, a lot of the root vegetables are beginning to occur, and really paying attention to what's available in your farmer's market as well as your local markets, stalls, and not necessarily supermarkets where they have a lot of unnatural foods from around the world, which, while great, it may be a place for it, not really supportive of our physiology and our earthly times. What such as things that, you know, that transport and technology does as well. So, you know, this is where we're all kind of like up in the air and, you know, not really thinking straight anymore, because our foods also tend to be kind of make us really high and stuff like that. So much more dense foods. And if you're a veggie, you know where to find your foods from, the grain-based things as well. And you know, I don't believe in this non-grain diet. I think everyone's different and everyone has different needs. Just pay attention to your body, and really give it the support that it needs. So health-wise, that's what I'd recommend. I would also recommend cutting back on very strong and hard anaerobic type or very aerobic type workouts as well. It's really good to start gently easing off. You know, there's nothing wrong with strengthening work, but again, it's you know, really working with the seasons. You know, we've really lost touch with that, and the best we can be is to work with the seasons as well, as animals tend to naturally do. We also, if we tune into ourselves, will naturally have the capacity to do that. The last few days I've been feeling a bit more tired than usual, particularly yesterday as the energy was shifting, and while I managed to get through my day, there were times where I just sat it was a beautiful day here in London, and I just sat outside listening to a priestess presence, a women's gathering council that's on at the moment, and I tuned into that while I just sat very gently looking out in nature and listening to something that was very heartwarming and soul-warming. So these are the kind of things you want to be doing at this time of the year. Start changing your wardrobe, although that's quite hard sometimes as well, as you know, the seasons here, from one day it's very hot and the next day it's quite cold. So be really attentive anyhow, and I recommend doing a ritual that you could do to support the changes, letting go of what no longer serves, saying goodbye to people who have served your friendship and the times, and know that when we move behind, it's just because energetically we're no longer compatible. It doesn't have to be into a big drama, it doesn't have to be into a big hate mail, it doesn't have to be anything, but just to maybe perhaps accept that things have moved on, they're no longer fit. You know, one is feeling disjointed in the issue of either work or friendship, and just to be gracious enough to sort of accept, bless it, and let go. If you are thinking of moving away from your work, then perhaps something not immediate right now. We're still going through the outer motions of coming out of Mercury retrograde, so perhaps wait for another 2 weeks before you actually act on it. Those who are looking for work, make sure you're really congruent to the work that you want. Be mindful of the compromises you could be making, either in the value of yourself or the kind of work you really want to do. We've been just also with this Mercury retrograde, it's very much a bit in Chiron, which means we tend to sort of, it'll be bringing up things from the past, about how we do things from the past, and that kind of thing has been really magnified and super magnified, where you can think, oh my God, I keep on doing this, oh my God, this is how I actually do everything. And also it's about actually really making those changes. You know, for me, it's been really speaking up and being really clear about what I've been feeling, and then talking about it as well as it happens, rather than sort of accommodating somebody else's needs and then sort of blowing up, which is what I've done and have done over a period of time. So I have lots of things to work through and lots of issues, but it's having the awareness and be able to nip it in the bud as it happens. And if things are salvageable, great. If things are not salvageable, that's fine, because if it was meant to be, it will be. That's as simple as that. You know, we have to stop trying to make things fit with other people's dramas, because if somebody wants to argue the case to the cows come home, to the blue in the face, then that's where they're at. You know, life is too precious to get too bogged down with other people's anger and their issues. So just be mindful about where you are with all this. There's a lot going on, and I've spoken quite a bit now, so I'm going to end my vlog here. So I wish you a happy equinox. Go with the changes, go with the flow, and be congruent in the changes you want to make. And by that, make sure you're really aligned with what your mind says, what your heart says, and what your whole body says. It's a congruency of all of it. So pay attention to that. It's a wonderful time of the year to do that, and to reset ourselves in the process of this new rebirth of our spirit and our lives. So thanks for listening. I'm Rafa Saba, and you will find my post and my Facebook page and post up on Rafa Saba, Living a Vibrant Life. And thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.